Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you for joining me again for another community chat, live Q&A. What do we want to call it? I really appreciate you all being here. If you're new here, welcome. We love to have you. My name is Angela. I'm a full-time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator, and my channel here on YouTube is dedicated to those of you that are starting to dip your toes into this endeavor in the hopes that we can at least, as a community, come together and help you move forward in this exciting new world of voiceover and audiobook narration. Um, in my channel or through my channel, I share with you tips and tricks and techniques that I use every day in my own voiceover business. And then we get together in these weekly community chats. If you're not new here, then you know that every week we have a new poll. And really, the topic of discussion for today is regarding demos. So here's your poll. How many demos or samples do you currently have? Because demos, I'm sure we all know, demos are very important. That's how we are heard, right? Whether it be, audiobooks or voiceover in general, we have to send or have demos available to either be posted onto pay to plays so our clients or potential clients can hear us, or we're sending them via email to the agents, wherever they're going. They are a necessity. And I think just starting out, how many did I have? I knew I didn't have near enough because I was still in the beginning and I was still feeling that imposter syndrome, right? And still cringing every time I heard myself speak. So I completely get it, but they are a must. They are a necessity to keep moving forward. And I get a lot of questions about how many should you have? Should you have it professionally made? Should you DIY it? How many samples should there be in a reel? Right? How do you mark the transitions? Or do you transition between samples in a single reel? How long should it be? These are all the questions that we'll cover today. So if you have questions or comments, if you have little golden nuggets that you'd like to share with everyone else watching today or watching after in the replay to help somebody with, your perspective on demos or anything that you can share about what you do with demos, and then that would definitely help. And then we'll talk about demos today. So let's check the poll results really quick. So far, we've got 28 votes. It looks like 43% of you have 0 to 2. 32% of you said 3 to 5. 14% of you said 6 to 10. And 11% of you said 11 or more. I think those of you that answered 0 to 2 are probably in the same place that I was in the very beginning, right? You feel that imposter monster, right? Staring over your shoulder going, you're not good enough to do this. You hate the sound of your own voice. What am I doing? Who do I think I am? We know who you are. You are a future audiobook narrator at the beginning of their journey. So just keep going, get some coaching, get some training, get, all the resources that you can get, practice, audition. There's a lot of sites that will even allow you to use your auditions as samples and then later compile them into reels. So get out there and get some more demos and samples ready, right? Do it. All right, let's get over to the comments. And I do want to address really quickly. I did see that there was this super chat. A couple of super chats. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys. Caesar. Thank you so much, Caesar. I'm always so humbled when you guys send super chats. I really appreciate it. I do. But Caesar says raw demos, mixed demos, or why not both? Today's $5 question has been brought to you by schizophrenia. No, it's not. Yes, it is. I completely agree. And when I think what he means specifically, for those of you that may be unfamiliar with the difference between raw and mixed, is raw meaning also referred to as wet or dry, right? Or with music and sound effects, or with just your voice, right? Raw meaning just your voice, and mixed meaning mixed with sound effects and music. I've always been on the side of what he's referring to as raw, just your voice. I think there are certain demos that require or that could benefit from music and sound effects, but not all of them. I think especially in the beginning, if you're fairly new and your audio quality isn't quite where you're happy with it, and I'm sure you all know what I mean, and you add music to cover up, bad background noise or anything like that, the casting directors know. They can hear it. They can hear your noisy room under the music. So don't use music and sound effects to do that. Take the time to focus on making your audio quality the best that it can be first. I think sending a raw demo or just your voice in a demo in audiobooks, e-learning, everything other than maybe commercials and video games is probably what you want to aim for. Maybe you could have a version of each, right? Have the same demo, one with music, one with no music, just so you have either available if a client should ask, right? I think learning to add music and sound effects is really going to be beneficial for you anyway. So that's a great opportunity to learn and play with it, right? And then I saw another super chat. Jonathan Brosnan. I said your last name right this time. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for keeping my goal of escaping the car biz alive and real. You're welcome, and it's my pleasure, and I am living proof that it is possible. I myself did it. Was in the car biz for 20 years, and here I am. Thank you so much for the super chat, Jonathan. I appreciate you. All right, let's see who was first in before I even opened my YouTube and my StreamYard account today. Phantom Voice, what's up? I have to say it like that because that's how it's ingrained in my head. Wasn't that it was a commercial or something? What was that for? What's up? I forget what that was for, but it's ingrained now. Next in was Joya. I voted that I have 11 plus because I do, although I'm now redoing a few and will be posting my demos on Fiverr and website as I revamp both now that I have a tech upgrade. Sweet. Yes, that is a great point. And I did see, just scanning through the comments earlier, that there were a few other people who said the same. Refresh often your demos and your samples, because as we move through this learning process, right? Not only learning about your DAW, your digital audio workstation, aka recording software, as you move through learning what it does and what all the effects do and how they all work together in harmony to make you sound the best that you can, your audio quality is just going to get better and better and better. Not only that, but with all the practice that you're doing, your delivery, your performance is just going to get better and better and better. So therefore, refresh your demos and samples. Do it often. Every month, every 2 months, every 3 months. Set yourself a goal for, like a schedule for refreshing demos. I think that is something that I don't do quite often. And when you do refresh your demos and samples, make sure you refresh them on every site that you're on, right? You can even go through, I did this the other day on Voice 123. I refreshed all of my demos and then got rid of some of the really older ones The older ones, I got rid of those and just refreshed. I did that on Voquent too, on a couple of pay-to-plays this weekend. I just refreshed everything, right? It doesn't hurt. Can only help. Eric says, I'm sure you'll mention this, but remember it's important to update your samples. You're better now than you were when you recorded that first sample. Let the people know. Exactly. Exactly. Joya says to Eric, and your words of advice are why I have so many demos. Mm-hmm. Caesar says, Eric's right. My old samples were recorded in an untreated room, then processed through multiple audition presets and heavy de-reverb and denoise. They sound hollow and robotic. Yes. I can tell you from personal experience, just not knowing anything about anything and not understanding what my effects did or what, presets did or what effects I even needed, or even realizing that my room was not treated. Same thing. I started recording in my living room on a glass table. I didn't know anything. I just knew that what all there was to it was you have to have some recording software, a mic, and some headphones and just start recording. See, we've all been there. We've all been in that place. I think the majority of us anyway. But as you start to move through and, as I always say, join groups, have, a mastermind of people, have groups that are willing to help and just glean information. You learn quickly that, oh, I need to be in a room that has, treated walls, and just so I can eliminate the need for After Effects, right? You don't want to have to add heavy noise reduction. You don't want to have to add de-reverb at all. You do not want reverb in your recording space. The more effects you apply, and this was in a short I posted the other day, the more effects you apply, the worse your audio quality is going to sound. So don't use effects if you don't need them. That's another thing that you'll see a lot of people talking about certain things, right? Certain kind of effects. If you don't need it, don't use it, right? Just applying stuff just to arbitrarily apply stuff because everybody says to use it doesn't really do you good in your situation, in your recording space with your voice and your equipment. Everybody's situation is very unique and there's a lot of variables to consider. So if you are in a place where you're just like, I have no idea, I don't have the patience for this, don't have the know-how, then hire an audio engineer to help you. Do a booth audit. They'll go through your equipment with you. You send them a raw sample of your recording, and they'll tell you, okay, well, maybe it sounds like your mic may be a little bit too far away. Let's try, moving it off axis. Here's the effects that I would use. Some of them will even design a custom equalizer for you to address a lot of your issues, whether it be room noise, sibilance, whatever it is. It's well worth the investment. And there's a handful of great audio engineers out there that are willing to help, that are specifically attuned to voiceover. There's Tim Tippett, there's Lenny B, there's Roy Yokelson. There's a few of them that I could think off just top of my head. They're definitely worth investing in. I don't know if you guys can hear that. My cat is just pewing around the living room. I don't know what she's doing. Caesar says, listening to them now is like drinking a jar of tepid, unsweetened lemonade. Pretty much. Caesar says, that said, hello, Angela. Hello, everyone. Turns out it was a laptop that died a couple of weeks back, so I'm thinking of getting an expensive Mac or an expensive Windows laptop, but I am insane. It doesn't have to be expensive. I think the one thing that I would definitely consider in looking at a new PC or a Mac, whatever it may be, a laptop or a tower, look into its connectivity. Make sure that you have enough, plugs, basically, of whether it's USB, USB-C, Thunderbolt, whatever it is. Because a lot of interfaces are starting to go over to the USB-C side. So even if you have an older computer, it's something to consider. If it just has USB, inputs, you might need USB-C at some point. So what I'm saying is to look at a new computer, either PC or Mac, doesn't matter. Just make sure that you have some connectivity. Look at what everything is used, or what inputs everything that you're looking at uses, to make sure that you're sort of future proofing your purchase, because you don't want to have to upgrade again in another year or two. Also, RAM. I think having enough RAM in the beginning, processing power, is going to be important too. Could probably get away with 8 gigs, but I would definitely say 16 gig RAM to start, at least, because you're going to get to the point where you're multitasking things and you're going to want the horsepower to get these things done and get them done quickly, if that makes sense. Oh, and quiet. Whatever you purchase is quiet, relatively quiet. Dylan Holt says, good afternoon, all. I have 2 demos freshly done and a couple of samples that need updated. I would say double or triple that number, because essentially you want samples, which is a single take or a single example, right? Maybe a single book excerpt, maybe a single piece of like a 20-second sample of you doing e-learning, right? A sample is a singular piece. And a demo or a reel or demo reel is a compilation of those. A demo reel, I would say it needs about 4 to 5 different types of whatever kind of demo you're making, whether it be an audiobook demo, an e-learning demo, a commercial demo, right? Or just a demo of a range of things that you offer. It's good to have lots of different varieties of demos and samples, and then have a sample of every single kind of thing that you do, right? So if you narrate audiobooks, have a sample of just sci-fi, a sample of just romance, a sample of just children's books, and so on and so on and so on, right? A sample of character work, so on and so on. That's sort of the difference between the two. And I think a demo reel, a minute, 2 minutes max, maybe. Sean says, how about an iMac that was expensive a couple of years ago, but not so expensive now? As long as it's got the RAM and the connectivity and it's quiet, why not? Dylan says, with a Fiverr gig just published, I'm about to do another demo. Good. Keep making them. Caesar says to Sean, also an option. However, the reason why I'm considering the new one, specifically an M2 Mac Studio, is how quiet they are. Also, I can get them on credit installment. There you go. If you got a back door to getting you a deal of some sort, definitely do it. Coffee time. MG Steven says, hello. Backwards. Hi, Angela and everyone. Am I dyslexic? No, I just have my brain just jumbles things around. Gregory is here. Good morning from the Big He. Gregory's got some great TikToks. Fiber Jazz. Greetings, everyone. Hope you're all having a great Tuesday. So far, so good. So far, so good. Rustic Hillbilly says, just wanted to say good morning before I leaving for an appointment. Can't wait to check in later today. Well, I appreciate you. I hope your appointment goes well. Phil says, hey, Angela, hey, all. Hey, Phil. What's up, Phil? Dylan says, Caesar's looking to acquire gear. I'm shocked. Caesar is one person that definitely has an addiction. New gear addict. Yep. Phil says, I'd say I have about 7 to 8. Good. And keep refreshing and keep adding. Definitely. Caesar says to Dylan, I know, right? But seriously, though, this is an emergency purchase. Laptop died. Need something that can do both audio and video editing. Does it have to be a laptop? Does it have to be portable? I guess it doesn't hurt if you're traveling, to have a laptop. Pamela says, howdy from La La Land. Good morning, Pamela. Good to see you here. Caesar says, I've heard that a good baseline for demo length is like 70 seconds. But I feel it doesn't showcase my versatility enough. So I use humor to keep listeners engaged. Might work. We'll see. I think that's definitely a plus. You definitely have the comedic timing down. Your ability to make a joke sound like unintentional is amazing. Caesar, you are amazing. You need to get out into the world. Tiff's Stellar reads, I am a voice actor. I can pronounce things. Hi, Angela. Quick question. I was just curious, will you ever post full-length videos on your channel again? It's not a personal question. And I appreciate your comment, because this weekend I was thinking about that. Because I switched to the live streams because they were a little bit easier for me to do, because I just don't have the time that I used to when I was making videos. But now that I've had to force myself to sort of pump the brakes a bit, because I was burning myself out. So having said that, this weekend I was thinking about making some new content. And then I got sidetracked with other stuff, like my car threw a code the other day, so we had to get that fixed last night. I'm hoping that it doesn't break down on me today. Of course, right after it's paid off, that's the way it goes, right? But I'm planning to. Although I think these live discussions, although they're not, I try to make them about a particular topic. Sometimes we, run off the rails a little bit, but these are still really good for informational content. But I know what you're talking about. Shorter videos about something specific, and I'm planning on them. Yes, I am planning on them. But thank you for asking. Phil says, I think demos about 30 seconds long can catch the listener's attention, while 2-minute demos, they might lose interest. I think samples should be maybe about 30 seconds long, max. But demos, like demo reels, maybe a minute and a half, max, right? A minute and a half, I think, which means your sample lengths are going to be short, but it doesn't have to be long conversations of whatever. It just has to be a snippet, just so the listener can get an idea of your range, right? Or what you can do. A moment with Amisha. Should my audiobook demo be all of one niche or a variety? I'd say both. I'm interested in doing faith-based and children's books. So for you, you could have a demo reel. Well, first, let me back up and say, have samples of all the different types of books that you're comfortable narrating in accents or dialects or tones that you can sustain for audiobook lengths, right? Have different samples of individual pieces of those, and then compile them together into a reel. So you could even have a whole demo reel, a compilation reel of just faith-based books, a compilation demo reel of just children's books, and then have a compilation demo reel of both, right? A little bit of faith-based, a little bit of children's books. And then again, have samples of each pieces individually, because you will need them for different applications. So have all of them. Do it any way you want to. More variety, the better. Dylan says, oh, snap. I feel the pain there. I was panicked last week because I thought my laptop bit the dust, but thankfully it was just the power source. Emergency gear purchases aren't fun. No, they're not. And they happen, which is why I keep a backup of everything. I had this little tiny Nook little mini tower thing that I was running on for a while until I outgrew it, but I kept it just in case, the beast breaks down or something. And then I have the backup laptop too. And same thing with the interfaces. When I replaced my interface, I kept the old one. You all know I have a handful of mics. I have a backup of just about anything if something were to happen. So I don't have to make an emergency gear purchase. Knock on wood, now that I say that out loud. Joseph Mankowski says, it's like you live in my head. So glad I watched today. Oh, I live in your head. I live in your head. Yep. I do this for a living. I think we all get it. We all understand what we're talking about here. We've all been in these places once or twice, or currently, right? We all know. We're here to help. Phantom Voice says, I haven't recorded, anything at all. Not even a demo. I don't know if I'm scared, procrastinating, or simply have too much on my plate. It could be a combination of all of those. It could be fear. I think for the most part, myself included, it was fear. I was putting myself in the procrastinating stage. I told myself that I wasn't ready because I still needed to learn this, or I still needed to do this, or I still needed to get a grip on this, or I still needed this piece of equipment, whatever it is. I was telling myself that I wasn't ready. I was sticking myself in the learning stage, but I was procrastinating because of fear. I think that's where most of us get stuck. So if you have all the essential pieces you have, just get started. Just start recording because you will inherently just get better the more you do it. And of course, seek coaching and training and things like that, but you have to get your brain outside of that line. That line that you can't bring yourself to cross to move forward because of fear, right? So step over that line, and then the more you start to practice, even just, playing around with it, you'll start to overcome that and you'll be able to step over that line of fear. Trust me, just do it. Just do it. E. John Danton says, "Good morning from BC, Canada. I'm at the I think I can stage. You have to know you can. And to know is to do, so you can show yourself that you can." Sounds like a new t-shirt. Starting to believe in myself. Your channel helps tremendously. Good, I'm glad. Joseph says it was a Budweiser commercial. Oh. What's up from Budweiser. Was it? That's so funny. I don't remember it being a Budweiser commercial. That's so funny. Thank you, guys. Larissa says, "Hi, I have a few samples, no demo yet. So put all those samples together and voila, demo." Also, I wanted to bring up, I almost forgot, when you're putting all the samples together into a demo, make sure that you level out the volumes, because some samples are going to be recorded at maybe a little bit of a lower tone, and some are a little bit more excited. Maybe you're a little further away from the mic, whatever the case may be, but make sure that all the volumes of each one of the samples within that demo are about the same volume, because you don't want to give it to somebody and then the first one's really super quiet. And then the next one's at a normal level, but that really super quiet one at the beginning that you love, that you were so impressed with, that's the first thing that the listener is going to hear. And that may just be the death of that demo, right? So make sure that they're all roughly the same volume and that they're all, there's no dead air. There's not like 5 seconds of dead air between them or at the start, right? Don't make them wait to hear you. Start right away. And then maybe as far as the transition goes, what do you guys think about a second, half a second of a pause? And even the samples that you choose to put in the demo could be vastly different from each other. So as soon as the next one starts, you can tell it's not a continuation of the first one, right? And just make sure it's clean. There's no like clicks or like mouse clicks in it or any kind of weird noises. Just make sure it sounds good all the way through. Double check it, triple check it. Gregory says the commercial was for Budweiser. What's up, Budweiser? I'm glad you guys remember that because I don't. Writer Dude says, just started with a practice script last night. Goal is to have a couple of basic demos done by this weekend. That's a good goal. That's a good goal. And then in a month or two, do it again and refresh it. Or whatever intervals that you choose, right? Geok, is it Geok? Z123. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. All of my demos are DIY. I do have a radio production background, and my demos are just basic dry reads, some music background. And thank you for bringing up that point. That was another thing that I wanted to talk about today. I was hoping it would come up. Should you have a professional producer make a demo for you? Or should you just DIY it? Here's my thoughts on that. Professionally produced demos are expensive, but If you choose someone to work with that will make the demo with you, if you choose a package, they usually have varying packages of producing demos. Some are just basic demo production. Some of them, they will coach you through recording and producing the demo, right? Well, recording it, but then they'll produce it. And then another package, perhaps, where they write a custom script for you and the way that you sound, the way that, specifically written for you, and then also coach you through like the whole shebang. As you can imagine, those are not cheap. Some of those packages get up into the thousands, right? Which is fine. And I'm sure you'll learn a lot with the coaching session that goes through it, right? I'm sure it's worth every penny. But, and also, my main concern with those is that if you can't reproduce the sound, the audio quality that they're able to get done for you or to achieve for you, if you can't reproduce that audio quality on your own consistently, then that might be misleading to a client to send them a professionally made demo that you can't reproduce. Or if you can't reproduce the actual acting part or whatever, the voiceover without somebody coaching you through, that could also be misleading. So that is why training and coaching is so important, to be able to reproduce that level of performance, that level of, whatever you're giving it, emotion, the delivery, and the audio quality. If you can't reproduce those on your own, then that could be a problem. So in the beginning, I DIY'd my own. I know a lot of people who have. And then through that process of just doing, practice, 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 you will just start to get better sounding, right? You'll start to learn your audio quality and how to make it sound its best. And then also with the performance, and while you're coaching with someone, hopefully, you'll just get better and better and better in the performance side. And then reach out to someone to have somebody professionally help you through producing a demo, right? That's, in my mind, that makes sense to me. Of course, do it however you want to do it. But thank you for bringing that up. Most of mine, actually, no, all of mine are DIY. I think at some point I'd like to have a professional demo made, but Cashfield says, hello, first time catching you live. Hello. Just wanted to say thank you and the community here for all the advice. Your videos have been incredibly helpful. Only just starting out on my VO journey. Well, welcome to the VO family, Cashfield. We're glad to have you here. And I appreciate your kind words. I'm glad they help. That's the whole purpose of them. And I'm glad that they are. Phantom Voice says, your voice is amazing, and I feel I've heard it everywhere. Probably here on my channel. Probably. You probably don't have any trouble getting work. You're a very humble lady. Well, thank you. We're just people. Why I don't understand why there's so much just pretense, and you know what I mean? Just be you. I mean, what do you just be you? We're all just people trying to make it, you know? But I appreciate that. And I think my voice is very similar to others. So, I mean, you could have heard me. Maybe it was someone else that sounded like me. I mean, I sound like Alexa. So maybe you hear Alexa and go, hey, that's Angela. It's happened. It's happened. But I appreciate that. I don't take compliments well. But thank you. Joy said, good morning, Angela and everyone. From a cool, cloudy 53-degree day. Well, we're going to be breaking records again today here in the desert of Arizona. Still in the triple digits. Yay. I'm glad it sounds like a nice day for you, though, Joy. Eric says, now I'm off to the auditions and continue recording my current book. Have a great show, Angela, and a great day, all. Yes, audition. And again, a lot of these sites will allow you to use your audition as a sample. So get some extra mileage out of that work you've already done. You do it. Do it. Fiber Jazz says, very important to update commercial and promo demos to keep pace with shows airing and products are currently on the market. Right. Trending, right? Stay on top of trends. What styles are currently being favored, right? If you just I'm in the habit of every time the TV's on or the radio's on, I will listen intently to the commercials. We sort of tune them out as we get older. We're just like, I like commercial. But as a voice actor, it's important to listen to them because you'll start to see, as times change, you'll start to see common, you know, trends. Right now it's a little bit more conversational. And then every once in a while you have one that's kind of goofy, like a very unique kind of voice with a goofy sort of a script. But for the most part, it's very like the lady next door, the neighbor next door kind of conversational, right? So it's entirely important to stay on top of trends and have your samples and demos reflect the current trends, right? To make them more appealing. Demos with old products and shows suggest you're not staying on top of your game. Very well said, Fiber Jazz. Thank you very much for saying that. Very true. Facebook user, this is Dave Moxley. Hey, Dave, how you doing? Oh, we got a super chat. Hold on. I'm coming. I'm scrolling. Hold on. Sean Lester. Thank you, Sean. Thank you for the super chat, Sean. I appreciate you. Do you use 90-ish second samples as well as demos? Something I picked up on from a book publisher over the weekend. I think for audiobooks, they're going to be a little bit longer because there's a little bit more to an audiobook than, say, like a commercial demo or promo or a read, right? So samples could be, for an audiobook, 30 seconds to a minute, maybe. Right? Unless there's like a few different characters that you want to highlight the dialogue or the different character voices. I mean, it could be a little bit longer, but for audiobook samples and demos, 2 minutes max, maybe. Everything else, maybe a minute. I hope that answers your question. So the longer form stuff, probably a little bit slightly longer demos, but the shorter stuff, shorter demos. Yep. Scrolling. Yep. Scrolling. I lost my place. Here we go. HCRFT. I utilized a sound engineer's services early on. He listened to my raw recordings and then set up a preset package unique to my voice DAW recording space. Well worth the peace of mind. I have done the same, not as early as I should, but it was about 2 years in where I sought help because I'm just stubborn like that. But it was well worth the investment for sure. Same. Set up presets that were specific to my mic, my DAW, my room. Definitely helped. A Moment with Amisha says, how do you store your VO files? Dropbox, Google Drive, etc. Don't want to keep too many files on my Mac Pro. Stuff that I'm currently using, I'll keep on my computer. I'll keep locally on my computer. But anything that I've finished or that I'm not using, like old demos, audiobooks that are off to retail, every 6 months or so, stuff that I'm not using on a daily basis or weekly basis or that I need immediately at hand, I will move to external storage. I'm Generation X, so I don't have complete faith in online like cloud storage and things because things break. They do. They inevitably just so do external hard drives for that matter, but I want to keep it on something that is tangible. Right? I don't do MP3s and things for music. I keep CDs because I'm old school and it's tangible. It just makes sense to me. So instead of Dropbox or Google Drive, unless you're trying to keep it accessible for sharing, then yeah, Google Drive or Dropbox. But if it's not something that you're immediately using or it's old, it's outdated, you're not using it anymore, move it to external storage so it's not clogging up the storage capacity on your computer. Whatever works for you. Bear338 says, happy Tuesday, Angela, and all still tweaking my workspace, probably being too picky. I don't think that you can be too picky, but do some sample reads in it. Do some sample reads. And then if you're in my Facebook group, post them in my Facebook group for feedback. See if ears other than yours can pick up reverb, can pick up, something, and maybe they can help you fine tune your space that way. Gregory says, where can I find the royalty-free music beds and inexpensive sound effects for new demos? There's, oh gosh, is it Orange Music? There's also Mix Kit through Envato. There's the YouTube Studio has a lot of royalty-free, like Creative Commons types things, sound effects and music. Pond 5, of course. You can purchase individual tracks and sound effects. There's another one where you can just buy individual things. Is it something jungle? What is it? Does anybody know? If you have any others that you know of to use and share, please put it in the comments so we can help Gregory out and anybody else that needs royalty-free tracks. Caesar says, I also advise anyone who's recording their demos and processing them, take breaks now and then. The more you listen to your own voice, the more you start hating it or start nitpicking. Yes, because there is such a thing as over editing, overdoing it, right? So I would say choose the pieces that you're going to use for your demo, put them, in the demo, copy the section, paste it into the demo, same thing with the next one, and then save it and then come back to it later. And then with fresh brain, fresh eyes, fresh ears, listen to it again and make sure that you have them in the right order, right? That they sound good in that order, that there's no miscellaneous noises in there that shouldn't be there, adjust the volumes, so on and so forth, because it is really easy to overdo it. Really easy. Joy says, sorry about that. I have a sensitive QWERTY pad. I have 50 demos that don't know how to put them together in a demo. I'm looking for a good video to teach me to do it myself. Do I have one? I know I have a video about DIYing your demos, and I can't remember if I go through the entire process, but I think I do. But it's not as difficult or as intimidating as it should be. You basically select a few different samples that you would like to go into this particular demo, right? Go through the sample and find a small section of the best part of it that you feel is the best representation of that tone, of that genre, whatever it is. Select it, copy it, and then go to your fresh demo file, paste it, right? Go to your next sample, do the same thing, find the section that best represents your performance of that genre, whatever it is, copy it, go back to your demo file, paste it, right? And then you can even move them around if you need to, right? Once you have the demo file with all your 5 pieces in it, you can listen to it and see if it makes sense in that order. And if it doesn't, then you just copy, paste, and then delete the old one and then, move them around. Or if you have multi-track, if you're good with multi-track, you can just slide the pieces around. However you can make it work. Or reach out to somebody in the group, in our platinum group. I bet you someone might be willing to help you to put that together. Kaylin Sky says, where was everyone's first gig from? Oh gosh. I think mine was from Craigslist. Actually, it wasn't Fiverr or anything. I want to say it was Craigslist. It was like a short animated film. Someone was looking for a voice artist on Craigslist years ago. And then I went to ACX, to Fiverr, Upwork, and all of those things. It's crazy. HCRFT said, had my first one-on-one session with Angela recently. Hey, Angela, I set up a website as you suggested, wearily approaching making my social media footprint. Where do I find the group community page? For Facebook, my Facebook group, the VO workshop. Is that what you're talking about for sharing demos? That's where that is. The VO workshop on Facebook. Julia says, hi, Angela. Hi, Julia. I'm actually working on my video game demo, commercial demo, animation demo, and my promo demo. I'm finding that it's fun, but also a little bit more hard than I expected. I think because it's like we're down to the nitty gritty now, right? This is what our clients are going to judge us on, right? This is where they're going to decide whether or not they want to hire us. So it's nerve wracking. I get it. The actual process of putting it together is time consuming. I wouldn't say it's hard, but it's time consuming and maybe tedious. But it's nerve wracking, right? Because you're like, oh, what if they hate this one? I like this one, but what if they hate it? And you just start to overthink it. Yeah. Facebook user, this is Colette. Hey, Colette, how you doing? I loved Wendy's demo. Fast-paced, different genres, back-to-back like little bullets of characters racing by, making me feel like, yes, this lady can do it all, whatever it is. Is that type of demo good, or is it better to do a separate each one? Both. Both. Do both. And I mean, it's Wendy. Wendy. I mean, she is the doyenne of acting. We're talking about Wendy. Of course it's good. Fox Aches. Hello. Jonathan says, I see demos with products and brands. Is nothing off limits for a demo? That's a good question. And a little bit of a gray area as far as I'm concerned. Because I've heard of using an actual brand go both ways. I've heard of somebody doing, let's just say, just to pick a brand out of the air, Folgers coffee. Coffee, of course, is what comes to mind, right? If you did a commercial, like a redo of an existing commercial for Folgers, and they heard it and they liked it, I mean, there's an opportunity, and I've heard this happen before, where they reach out and say, hey, would you like to be the voice of our new commercial? We loved your redo. Or they could be, you could have somebody in the marketing department just being, really upset that you did that and, might send you a cease and desist. There really isn't a way for me to say, yes, do it, or no, don't. So me being me and always erring on the side of caution, if you like a commercial demo or a commercial read, you can take the close verbiage of how it's laid out, change the name of the company, and maybe give it a little bit of a tweak for, just so it's not verbatim apart from the company's name, and then do that. Or you could even have Chat GPT or something write up a commercial script for you. There's a lot of practice scripts out there. If you're in my platinum group, we have a whole library of scripts. Goodness, that we can use for demos and practice. There was something else that was right here that was yelling at me, but of course now it's gone. Hopefully it'll come back to me. Fiber Jazz says, I heard about a 7-second rule from a few casting directors. Decisions to shortlist reject are made in 7 seconds or less and won't listen to the rest. Get your best read first on your reel. Absolutely. And I'm sure you guys have heard me say this a million times before. Always put your best stuff at the front and make sure there's no dead air at the beginning of your demo. Don't make them wait a second or two to hear your narration, because they won't. They won't wait. They'll just assume something's wrong with the file and move on to the next one. And they will know if you are the right voice or something that they're looking for within the first few seconds. Apparently it's 7 seconds. So always put your best stuff at the beginning. Dana says, hello, I'm completely new to all of this and wondering what you suggest starting with. Where to find lessons, work, equipment, love your audiobooks. Oh, well, thank you. I'm going to blush. There's a lot to cover in that question, and there is a lot to it. I would say, because we could be here for another hour going through everything, but we have a lot of voice artists that are willing to share on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. I would say seek them out and listen to everything that they have to say. There's a lot of resources out there. I have tons of them in my videos here. Narrator's Roadmap. There's ACX University. There's a lot of the voice artists that make themselves available online also coach or mentor. Reach out to one of them and, set up some coaching sessions or join a mastermind. At the very, very least, join VoiceOver Facebook groups. Again, mine, the VO Workshop. There's almost 2,000 people in my group. and I allow you to post demos for feedback. We share information, we ask questions, and then you get a lot of perspectives and answer. And all of those perspectives, one of them might apply to your situation. So that's where I would start. Phantom Voice says, is there anywhere I can hear sample demos that I can take notes from? I'm lost when it comes to it. I freeze faster than water in the Arctic. Sample demos, yeah. If you go to ACX and listen to the narrator samples, that'll give you some audiobook ideas. If you Google voice actors, or if you know of a few different voice actors, you can go to their websites and listen to their demos. Or you can, even on pay-to-plays like Voice123, places like that, where you can look at other actors' profiles, you can listen to their demos there. There's a lot of them. Fiverr, Upwork, you can go to the different profiles and listen to their demos. A Moment with Amisha says, thanks, Angela. You're welcome, Amisha. I hope I'm saying your name right. Fiber Jazz says to Cashfield, welcome. Hope you have fun on this new journey. Mm-hmm. Fox Egg says, fear and imposter syndrome. Uh-huh. I know those guys very well. Carlos says, how do I go about making a demo? I think we covered that. Julia says, yep, Angela, I've had those days where everything I say comes out backwards. I do it all the time. It's like my brain's trying to make things more interesting. I don't know. Or my mouth isn't as fast as my brain, or vice versa. I don't know which it is. Blah. Phantom Voice says, I am in the procrastinating stage. I love that word. Just do it. Yeah, I heard that a few years ago, and I was like a light bulb. It's exactly what it is. Procrastinating. So I had to share because it fits so well. Bear338 says, Angela, I took your advice and have been reading everything I see out loud. Good. It is making me more comfortable with hearing my own voice. There you go. And you're waiting for your water to warm, getting in the shower, read the shampoo bottle, read books out loud. Everything that you come across, read it out loud. It'll help you get better with sight words and things too. Facebook user, this is Colette. What are the different venues on which to put your samples? What's the difference between them? For like ACX, any of those pay-to-plays, any of those websites that you find work on, you're going to need to be able to upload samples and or demos. So the clients browsing through the talent can hear what you sound like to see if you are the appropriate person they want to hire. So voices.com, Voice123, Bidalgo, Voquent, Voice Giant, Voice Jungle, Voice Bunny, Fiverr, Upwork, ACX, all of them. Any place where you're looking for work that you're posted as a talent, you'll need a demo or a sample or both. Jamaldine Boyce says, hello, Angela. Hello. Thank you for all you do. I love your channel. Oh, thank you. I would love to ask if the Octo 842S leave any kind of hum or sound on your recording. No. It does not. Not that I have. I mean, that's been on there for at least 3 years, and I've never had any kind of, vibration or anything. It's great. I've never had an issue with it leaving any kind of artifacts in my recording at all. Love it. JCCAOL says, happy Tuesday, everybody. 2 weeks until Halloween. That's right. I love it. Oh, that's right. It's on a Tuesday, right? So we'll have to do a Halloween special. Joey says, sorry about that. I have, why are you apologizing? I have about 50 samples and I really need to get my butt in gear and put some demos together. I'm looking for a good YouTube video to show me how to do a DIY. I want to say even maybe Anthony Piga, Bill DeWeese has touched on it a couple times, but as far as showing you how to make one, I bet you if you just went to YouTube and searched DIY demo, I bet you'll have a lot of listings come up. A handful, at least. Caesar says, I just realized I find that creating fully produced audio demos, since I have that skill set, helped me get out of my fear phase, hearing my voice in a mix. Maybe others can benefit from doing this. perhaps, but everybody's different, right? Some people are a little bit more critical about their voices than others, right? It could be. I mean, it's definitely a good thing to do, to try. I mean, I think everybody should be practicing with music beds and sound effects anyway, because at some point you never know when you might need to add it or need to have that skill set. Fiber Jazz says, a moment with Amisha, or at a moment with Amisha. I make backups on external storage drives and on the cloud. Like to have more than one backup. That's a good idea too, to have multiple backups, a backup for your backup. Phantom Voice says, I wish I could listen, watch you live somewhere other than on the freaking forklift. Hashtag Grr Tuesdays. I do take these live streams, and then of course they're available for replay later. But I'm also taking the audio and turning and using them on my podcast. So if you miss one of these, or if you're in the car and you don't have, you can't listen on YouTube, you can go to my podcast, which is She Lancer, a mom entrepreneur. It's on my website if you want to listen to it there. But I have a podcast that's also a replay of these too. I think I actually have the link down below in the description. Why am I doing this? Because it's down below. But it's not live. That's the only thing. Assy Matt. Hope I said that right. Hi, Angela. Thank you all for your guidance. Well, I'm just getting into voiceover. Just got my recording setup done. Have been watching your videos and learning a lot. Love from India. Well, welcome to the family. And thank you for watching my videos. I appreciate that. I'm glad they help. Caesar said, I have a couple of decades of experience in graphic design, rich media, animation, video, and audio production, so I guess I am a professional and thusly capable of DIYing my own demos. Yes, you can. And you should also make that into a service to assist others as well on sites, perhaps maybe like Fiverr, like Upwork, perhaps, in our group. Use that skill set, man. Writer Dude says, when I was practicing last night, I noticed it was much easier for me to do roulette read or Wheel of Emotions on a Thursday than to practice alone. I think so too. I think when you have, it's stress inducing knowing that you have other people watching you in the moment while you're reading for other people, out loud. But at the same time, the feedback that you get, that we're there to learn and grow, not to be judged, right? So that whatever comes out of your mouth, you're going to get constructive feedback on, right? To help you to learn and grow. So that it's one of the reasons why I love our Platinum group. Not only that, but everybody in it is just so supportive and helpful and amazing group of people. And the Wheel of Emotions is super fun. And that is what we're doing this Thursday, Wheel of Emotions. Looking forward to it. It's always fun. Fiber Jazz says, my 2 cents. If booking work via DM, coaching and pro demos are likely to open more doors. For sure. For sure. Absolutely. Mason Reconstruction says, no pro demos, but tons of samples on Brick and Block podcast, YouTube, ACX. Everyone has access to many samples. And something just came to my mind about YouTube. If your samples are in video format, because maybe you're someone like Caesar and you have a little bit of video knowledge, editing knowledge, and you want to submit a video demo, right? Or even I'm trying to think here, like a place like Fiverr where you have the ability to upload a video into your profile for the gig. You can make a video demo. But you can also make those store them on YouTube. So let's just say, I'm trying to put this in the best way this makes sense. So if you're a person that, even if you dub videos and the client that you worked with, you did a project where you dubbed a video and then they sent you the finished video, maybe they had to add a watermark or something to it. They send it to you. You then download it from the client, upload it to YouTube. So it's like free video storage. So that if you ever come across another client that says, hey, I have this project where you're, adding voiceover to a video, you can send them that YouTube link and go, yep, here's one that I did before. So instead of storing it on Google Drive or Dropbox and taking up precious storage space, especially for videos because they take up a lot of space, upload it to YouTube and make it like either a public demo or make it private and then, save the link or share the link to clients who want to see a video demo. I hope that made sense. I sort of went sideways a little bit. Caesar says to Writer Dude, I do the same. Sometimes my wife walks in and she's like, should we be worried about this? Bear338 says, Angela, you are amazing and such a blessing to all of us. You know how to nudge us into the right direction. We are cats and you heard us nicely. Well, I am a crazy cat lady, so I guess I have experience with cat herding. I'm a cat whisperer. Thank you. I appreciate that. Kaylin Sky says, I've been volunteering with LibriVox. Would that make a good place to clip a demo or record new? I would record a new one. And I'm glad that you're volunteering for LibriVox because that is a good way to sort of another way to help you step over that line of fear and to build your confidence and knowing that you can format properly, you can narrate, all of those things. But I would not use those as a demo. I would record a new one. Why not? I guess you could, but I would probably record something different. Queen Penguin, just want to thank you for giving me the advice a few lives ago about not being too hard on myself for it taking a long time. As a mom with littles, as my tendency is to do exactly that. Yeah, it's going to take however long it needs to take. I know some people are in a pinch to get income coming in. I get that. But it really is going to take the time it needs to take. If you don't, there's no... Voiceover is something that I think, AI aside, I think voiceover is something that is going to be a continuous need in all age ranges, all, age groups, ethnicities, whatever. I think it's something that's always going to be there in one shape or form or another. And therefore, voice actors are always going to be needed. Personal opinion. I can't foresee the future, but that's just what I think. So it's not like you're going to miss the boat, right? So just don't stress yourself out and burn yourself out before you even get started. It takes what it needs to take time-wise. Caesar says to Fiber Jazz, how about demos that are in tune with Gen Z lingo? Like, hey, yo, this audiobook's going to send you, no cap. I can't even say that without giggling. I know it's like I have a teenage translator. Rick Cole is here. Hey, Rick. If I do a recording and it's poorly done, does that set a bad impression with the customer? Yes. Regarding any possible future endeavors with me? Yes. If it's poorly done, meaning you recognize that it's poorly done, do not use it. Replace it. Make a new one. If you think it's poorly done, don't use it. Or if you really want to know for sure, post it in my Facebook group and get everybody else's feedback. You might be just being too hard on yourself, saying that it's poorly done when it's not. You're biased. Of course, your family members are probably going to be biased, right? Get unbiased feedback by posting your demos in a Facebook group that allows it, like mine, and get some feedback on what you need to do. Asim says, what would you suggest for people suitable for character voiceover? Make different character samples, like little snippets of different voices, different characters that you have in your head. Let them out into the demo, just little snippets of them, and make some character demos. Sean says, I think I'm going to use you singing my name as my ringtone. Don't do that. Oh my God, don't do that. Writer Dude says, Caesar, could you run that sentence through Google Translate? Fox Egg says, I've got 5 samples up on ACX right now. 3 are around a minute. 1 is a retail sample that is up on ACX. And the last is a 5-minute read of a complete short story. That is another great point. Retail samples of books that you've already done. You can use those retail samples for your own use as well. Right? As a demo, as a sample, a piece of it. It's work that you've already done. Use it. Use it. And you selected, or the author has selected that sample because it gives a good, maybe a synopsis of the story, or it's one of the better parts that you felt was a good representation of your narration ability. So use that as a sample or demo. Another thing about ACX samples, refresh them often and recycle them often, meaning they're posted chronologically. So as soon as you post one, it's up at the top of the feed of available samples, right? So maybe at the end of the week, a couple times a month, delete it and then repost it to be up at the top. And then just keep whatever intervals you decide, just stay towards the top 2 pages and keep adding more and refreshing and taking down the old ones, right? Just keep, recycle, stay at the top couple pages. Caesar says to Writer Dude, I did, and I got, you should be ashamed of yourself. Caesar to Gregory, oh shoot, hey, try Pixabay. Christine over at Discord swears by it. Oh, for music? HCRFT says, I use Epic Sounds. Epic Sounds was another one I was thinking of for music and effects. Yes. Dylan says Pixabay is good. Christine sent me there too. Caesar says, also Angela, I believe it's Audio Jungle. Is it Audio Jungle? I think it's Audio Jungle. I think this one that was, I could hear the watermark, the audio watermark in my head. Audio Jungle. Fox Ache says, breaks are as important as the work at times. Yes. Take breaks. Joya says to Gregory, message me in Discord and I'll make you a few music tracks. There you go. Platinum Group coming in for the win. You will own the copyright when I'm done. I love this group. Everybody's so helpful. Dana says, what would be a good budget microphone and equipment for a complete beginner? I think what's more important than the microphone type. Sorry, my hair is like really hot on my head now. What's more important than the microphone you choose is your recording space. Make sure that your recording space is dialed in, meaning, the walls are treated around you, the ceiling, the floor beneath you, anything in front of you, like your desk, your monitor, anything else that's going to reflect sound. You want to make sure noise, your overhead fan isn't on. You don't have fans in your computer. If it makes noise, is away from your microphone as far as you can get it. Treat your room. That's more important than what microphone to get. And you can start with a USB mic if you want to, but pretty quickly you're going to need to get into an XLR mic, which requires also an interface. So I hope that helps, but microphone equipment is not as important as your recording space. Because if you have a $50 microphone versus a $5,000 microphone, that $5,000 microphone is just going to highlight how bad your room sounds more than that $50 microphone. They'll both do it, right? But that $5,000 microphone will just highlight it even more. So treat your space. That's much better. Fiber Jazz says to Caesar, I admire your broad and deep production skills. They are a great competitive advantage. See? Use them. Fox Ache says, Halloween nails. Love it. But of course, it's Halloween. It's my favorite holiday. Joy says, speaking for myself, the biggest issue, DIYs, is that I heard from a certain expert that you don't use DIY demos to send to major employers like Disney, Amazon, Hulu. He said DIYers are entry level only. Yes, and most of us in this place, most of us, I would say, in this community here, are at the entry level phase. So once you get into a few years in and you're starting to hit the big leagues, definitely professional demo. I don't really reach out to big companies. I kind of like where I'm at, helping, indie, small, medium businesses. I should probably get in, reach out to the bigger ones, but I'm kind of okay where I'm at. So if you're looking to work with companies, big companies like that, then yes, definitely a professional demo is going to be a necessity. But I think the majority of the people that listen to me and come to these lives are in that entry level space. But you're right, Joy. Caesar's to Fiber Jazz says, thank you. It's like one of the few things that came out of my old life. VO is my new life, but I find I can still use non-VO specific skills to my advantage. Of course you can. Use them all. If you book publish, if you website design, if you whatever it is, use it in conjunction with VO as another stream of income. Absolutely use it. Fiber Jazz to Caesar, I think those are fine for specifically targeted audiences. I lack your production skills, so pay big bucks for demos and need them to be more widely applicable. There you go, Caesar. You should get into demo production or, fine tuning demo stuff. Caesar says to Joy, I would think that it depends entirely on your skill set. Once you're good enough, the difference between a home studio's output and a commercial studio can be nearly imperceptible. Caesar says, oh, by the way, Angela, Christine, Sean Short, and I did sample reads of Haunting of Hill House over at Discord's Bouncy House. What? Can these reads be used as demos? Can we read Harry Potter as a demo? Don't quote me on this because I don't know for sure. I think that you can. I know people that do, because you're not selling it. You're not saying that you wrote it. You're just showcasing your narration ability. However, I'm always I'd rather be cautious than not and not use somebody's copyrighted material. So just be careful, but I'm not entirely 100% sure you can, but I know some people that do. Amisha says, thanks to Fiber Jazz, Masonry Construction, and my first gig was as a storyteller. Only got paid a few bucks, but still, hey, it's experience. I got only a few bucks for my first gig too. I think that's pretty typical. Joy says to Caesar, the guy who said that is a regular on YouTube and his initials are MS, you can say names. It doesn't have to be secret. It might help somebody else. And he makes Mark Scott. Is that Mark Scott, the VOpreneur? And he makes himself out to be an expert on VO, marketing, etc. I'll message you on Discord. Yeah, Mark Scott. I'm in his circle too. I mean, it's a wide circle. I'm not saying we're best friends or anything, but I know of him and I've purchased some marketing courses from him too. He's a great one to follow, Mark Scott. Fiber Jazz says, I heard a suggestion to use fictitious brand or no brand to avoid casting concerns about exclusivity. That's another great point. If you have Coke spot on your demo and a client has a Pepsi opportunity, you could be passed over. That's another great point for using brand names in your demos. Dylan says, my first gig was on ACX for a book on the amazing male reproductive system. There were a bunch of giggle breaks because I have maturity of a 13-year-old. Yeah, I could see how that would be difficult. Gregory says, thank you, Joya. I appreciate your help. Caesar says to Dylan, oh, wow, send over a link. Not here, though. YouTube will obliterate it. Drop it on Discord. Masonry Construction. A demo suggestion. Remember that timing is everything. Record, 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 post, 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 link back to your website. All great stuff. Dylan says to Caesar, I don't want that recording to see the light of day. It was my first ever published recording. We can search you out, whether you like it or not. Fiber Jazz says to Caesar, perhaps you would want to make a demo DIY YouTube video? There's an idea. Caesar says to Dylan, I'll respect that, but that sounds like a fun time. Caesar to Fiber Jazz. I was actually thinking about that too. Lots of YouTubers cover the technical aspect of demo creation, but few, if any, I think, touch on the creative and inspirational process. There you go. Make a YouTube channel about all of that stuff that you know how to do. Dylan says, I'll see if I can find promo codes. There is an entire section of nicknames for the region that took about an hour to record because of the laughter. So yeah, Fiber Jazz to Caesar. Yes. Random question from Phantom Voice. What do you put in your coffee? Yes, funny story. I switched from dairy creamer to non-dairy, like plant-based creamer, and it really didn't make me so phlegmy. But this week, I wanted pumpkin spice, of course, because, pumpkin spice season. I ordered a non-dairy pumpkin spice and they were like, oh, we didn't have any of that. So we gave you dairy pumpkin spice. Is that okay? No, but I'll take it. So I'm a little phlegmier than usual, but yeah, I would, a lot of people stick with hot water, lemon, or throat coat tea, or tea in general, black coffee perhaps, but I'm kind of set in my ways. Old dog, no new tricks. I love my coffee the way that it is with creamer. So, but it will make you more sticky mouthed, and the dairy is not very kind. I like a coffee too. Fiber Jazz says to Phantom Voice, I like a little coffee with my cream and sugar. Yep, same. That's exactly how I explain it. Caesar says, good God, stop it. Something I do is cut open a bag of peppermint tea and sprinkle that over my coffee grounds. The brew becomes more interesting that way, I bet. Chris says, I'm publishing a novel in December and I want to have an audiobook version. It's about 90,000 words. How hard is it going to be for me to learn how to do this myself? It's not something that is not doable. I mean, it's totally doable, but there is a lot more to audiobook production than even we as audiobook narrators anticipated in the beginning. There's the recording software, there's the equipment. I mean, I love it when authors narrate their own books. But I think a trained audiobook narrator can give it the nuances a little bit more oomph. I'm having a hard time grasping words this morning, but they're skilled at bringing those words to life. Although an author understands the meaning and the feeling and the tone, understands those words better than anything. But there is a lot more to the technical side of audiobook narration than you would think. So my same advice to you as any other new narrator, just watch a bunch of videos, learn all that you can, because there is a lot more to it than you would think. Especially 90,000 words. That's 9 hours of finished audio. Therefore, probably what, 60, 70 hours or more of work for a new person, maybe even 80, 90. Joy says, I'm both a cat and dog person. My sandy-colored long-hair American domestic boy named Leonidas because he is the king, and his buddy Jake, the mixed Jack Russell Terrier. I had a Jack Russell named Jack, Captain Jack, specifically. Fira Matrix says, pronounced Fire Matrix. That makes sense. I just noticed. I think we use the same moving blankets. Got mine from Amazon. Yep, mine came from Amazon too. I think they were in a package of 4 or 5 for 30, 40 bucks, I think, something like that. It's on my website, on my recommended gear page. I think they were like 30, 40 bucks for like 4, I think. Phantom Voice says, Fiber Jazz, I'm the same way. I love sugar. Fiber Jazz says, I thought Mark Scott too. Yeah, it's Mark Scott, I think. Brittany says, if I'm using samples from a book I did not record, I only choose books that A, don't have an audiobook already, and B, aren't major bestsellers. Good points. Good points. Writer Dude says, I bought some cheap moving blankets at Harbor Freight last weekend. There you go, $6.74 on sale, so I can make a blanket for it. Cheap enough to replace in 6 months if they get too dusty, not washable. I don't think any of these are. So if you get them used, because you can, take them out and beat them before you hang them up and use them, just to get all the little, the dirt and whatever else is in them out before you hang them in your room. Joy says, I didn't know you could say names, but of course you can. Mike Schmidt, and he knows everything marketing, VO, etc. Interesting. No, I'm please share, because the purpose of this is to help everyone else watching either now with us now in the chat or watching later. The whole purpose of this is to help. So please, if you have resources or people, please share. It's not all about me. I'm a conduit to get the information out. Caesar says, I found Dylan Holt's audiobook on Mail Appendages. Of course you did. You knew that was going to happen, Dylan. Facebook user Colette says Trader Joe. What, the creamer, perhaps? Trader Joe's makes a good coconut creamer. That's what I get, but I wanted to do pumpkin spice just because, pumpkin spice season, and they just messed it all up. So I'll have to see if I can find another alternative for my creamer. Kaylin Sky says, recently started drinking Throat Coat, and I love it. I can't drink dairy, so tea or almond milk creamer. My morning jump is gamer sups. What is gamer sups? But yeah, almond milk creamer and coconut creamer are what I typically use. Writer Dude says, but a tip for anyone who buys these Harbor Freight blankets, hang them in the garage or outside, weather permitting, for 24 to 48 hours before using them. Are they stinky? Are they a stinky? Caesar says to Writer Dude, that is very, very true. Mine is a producer's choice sound blanket from Vocal Booths to Go. And when I got it, it smelled like New York City sewer line. Ugh. Writer Dude says to Phantom Voice, Oatly Barista Blend works great as a creamer and has no added sugar. Oatly Barista Blend. Writing that one down. Thank you for that. Caesar says, oh God, I need at least one mason jar to make it through these lives Q&As. Kaylin says, Starbucks has a pumpkin spice dairy-free creamer at Target that is awesome. I think I tried that once and it was good. Caesar says, gamer supplements isn't energy drinks. Oh, okay. We don't do energy drinks here in the house. They are forbidden. Unless I can sneak in a Red Bull. That's like the only one I like. Gregory says, silk almond creamer is the best. Yes, that's usually what I get. The flavored ones. Chris Podhola. Well, I appreciate your thoughts, but I priced out having it done, and the cheapest I could find a narrator was $2,000, and those were the narrators that didn't bring much life to what they read. Keep in mind that because audiobooks are a lot of work, especially for one as large as 90,000 words, the industry standard rate is $250 per finished hour. That's 9 finished hours at 90,000 words. So for a more experienced narrator, it's going to be more costly, right? So, but also with that is the buyout. So you don't have to share any royalties or anything with them going forward. It's a one-time buyout fee, so to speak. And also keep in mind that a 90,000 word book is going to take that narrator, 40, 50 hours to get done, maybe more, right? But keep looking. There's a lot of narrators out there in all different levels and all different price points, but just know that the industry standard is about $250 per finished hour, and then yours is roughly 9 finished hours. So it is going to be a little bit on the high side just because of the word count. Writer Dude says to Caesar, mine made me cough and made my eyes itch, but my air filter has cleaned up those things pretty good. Dylan says to Caesar, be kind. I was just a baby 6 months ago. I'm just a baby. Caesar says to Dylan, I promise I will. Kaylin says, it's energy drink, yeah, but not like Red Bull. It's like a cup of coffee, easier on the tummy. Okay, the gamer sup thing, I'll have to look at that. My son's all into Prime. It's like a teenage thing, right? But we don't. Red Bull for mom every once in a while. But nothing else. Bear338 says, I never knew how small this world is. I was talking to someone about what I am doing and discovered that one of our employees' husband has done this for a very long time. We each other weekly. That it is. It's a very supportive community too. There's a lot of voice actors with a little bit of experience, a lot of experience that are willing to reach out and extend a hand to help. And all of the new people don't really realize that they just have to take it, right? There's like, what's the catch? What are you expecting from me in return? And this is truly, truly one of the most welcoming, loving, supportive communities that I've ever had the pleasure of being part of. So don't be afraid to ask questions. When you join those Facebook groups and you're making friends with other voice actors and various levels and experiences, don't be afraid to ask questions, even if you think it's stupid. We've all been there, at one point or another, or maybe are yet to be there. So it's a good question to ask, no matter how, dumb you think it is. It's probably not. Maybe someone else is even thinking of that question. So just ask it and you shall have an answer. Joya says to Chris, I've done written 90,000 words, and that's a small book for her. And I'll warn you, the editing is around 56 hours on top of recording. Translate that to 2K. There you go. I hope this has been informative for everybody, that it's given you a little bit of confidence, hopefully, in moving forward with making samples and demos today. They are important. I hope that you get out there and make some, because they are definitely a necessity, and refresh them often, right? As we continue on, the better we get at this, so the better your demos are going to be. So keep refreshing, keep renewing, keep creating, right? And I will see everybody next week, same bat time, same bat channel. But until then, I'm gonna find my outro here. I'll see you next week. Bye.